Okay, so thank you all for being here. My name is Kara Welke. I'm an occupational therapist. I've been an occupational therapist for 20 years. I graduated in December of 2000. That's easy to remember, right? And I have always loved, had a passion for the geriatric population. I have worked in about every setting imaginable, but even before OT school, I was working in the geriatric population, and that reminds me to tell you guys a good story about that. So I'm just pulling this up on my Facebook so I can make sure that we're good to go. So I can tell you about that as well as we get going. But can you guys see my screen that says the top 5 reasons why you should start a mobile practice? If someone could just say yes, that would be awesome. Okay, well, good. That's good to know. Share screen. Let's try this. There we go. Now we're here. Okay, hopefully you can see it now. Okay, yay. Good, good. Okay, so tonight we're going to talk about the top 5 reasons why you should start a mobile therapy practice focusing on older adults before the end of 2020 and how to make it happen. And before we get going with that, you guys need to know a little bit about me. And I know probably a gazillion of you have already heard my story. So for those that you have already heard my story, sorry, I'm just going to repeat it because I know we have some new people on here and I want to make sure they know a little bit about me because yeah, I mean, you just need to kind of know a little bit about me for all this to make sense. And at the end of this, we have a few different things that we can offer you guys. And I just feel knowing more about me and what we're about is important. So again, I'm Kara. I grew up on a farm in South Dakota. This is my family. This is our family farm. I would love to live and be on our family farm, but we are 4 hours away. And up in the top is my immediate family. So I have been married for, gosh, I don't even know now. I mean, like 21 years. And we dated in high school and have been together forever. And he's a clinical psychologist. And I have 3 children. I have a senior, scary, a junior, and an 8th grader. And like I said, a little bit background about me. I graduated in 2000. I worked in an acute care. I got the job right out of my field work. They hired me there. And even when I started working at the facility there, I was always trying to do things to help older adults. Before I actually left there, I was trying to get a program started in an assisted living facility that was down the street from us that focused on the lifestyle redesign program. I had wrote up the whole program, I had proposed it to them and so forth. And then life kind of happened and I ended up moving to a different job. And then I moved and I worked in I was the director of an early Head Start program, was able to start that from the ground up. But even then, I still kept working PRN, and just because I loved working with older adults. And like I said before, I worked in the nursing home for years, and I just loved working with older adults and trying to come up with creative activities. So even before I knew really everything about OT, for our wedding, the residents in our nursing home helped create like the napkins. They stamped the napkins. They helped do work preparing for our wedding. So I'm like, I've just always loved working with older adults. And I've worked in outpatient, skilled nursing facility, transitional care unit, home health. And then I've taught in an occupational therapy assistant program. I taught 7.5 years. I resigned last December. And that resignation was, I mean, I wasn't planning on resigning, but just things happened and I resigned and I was able to just put all of my focus on working in my own practice, which is called Home Therapy Solutions, and also develop more with the Next Level Occupational Therapy platform. And since resigning, I've been able, with a team of us, have been able to help dozens and dozens and dozens of other therapy professionals start their own practices across the United States. And the majority of them are mobile practices and really focusing on the Part B. So that's kind of a little bit about me. And I started my practice a couple years ago. I should tell you a little bit more about that. So I say I truly didn't really know how to be a really good therapist until I started teaching in the Occupational Therapy Assistant program. I guess I've never really struggled for confidence before, and I thought I was a pretty good OT. And then once I started teaching, I realized that I wasn't a very good OT. Once I started teaching and really digging back into the profession of occupational therapy and what we're all about, I realized that I had been kind of brainwashed, or I'd been taught the wrong things coming out of school. And I think back to some of those things, like put your client on a UBE and document during that time, because that's efficient and that's how we do it. Always bill everyone 1 unit of evaluation, that's it. Always certify everyone for 90 days. And you do this therapy program and you give them this home exercise program, and that's how they go home. Were any of you guys kind of taught that as a student, or kind of get into that role? Is there anyone here that has had that experience? Let me know, put in the chat section to know if I'm not the only one. And again, I always thought I was totally OT related, because I remember when I applied for my position up here in Grand Forks, that I remember asking them in the interview, like, well, do you guys do functional activities? I mean, do you focus on like sit to stands rather than just TheraBand and stuff? I mean, I asked that question, but I wasn't practicing that way, because you get into that rut, you do what everyone else says. And it wasn't until I started teaching that I was like, holy crap, Kara, you really aren't, what you preach. And so over the last 7.5 years, I've really learned so much more. And through that time, I've learned, and I'm sorry to say this, that our profession has really done a disservice to itself. I mean, I know there's good practitioners out there, and if you're one of those, congratulations, love you to death. But for every great practitioner out there, there's a ton that were in the same rut that I was and haven't got out of that yet. And honestly, I can say that because I was the academic fieldwork coordinator for the last 7.5 years. And students came back to me after every fieldwork, frustrated. All we see is TheraBand. All we see is the UBE. We don't see function. You guys teach us function, but we don't see it. And I can't tell you like how many people said like they just teach you that in school. That's not how it is in the real world. And it's just like, oh my gosh. And I was so mad. But yet, if I thought way back to when I first started, I was one of those. We were just talking about this in a meeting the other day. I had this one facility or couple of facilities that people went to, and the therapist would would just sit there, have the client just sit there the last 15 minutes and document and count that as treatment unit, because they were with the client and they were resting. I mean, holy crap. I mean, it's just like, yeah, I mean, I could go on and on this subject. So a UBE is just the arm bike, upper body. Yes, thank you, Kathy. But I could go on and on. And it was a couple of years ago. If anyone knows what year the Salt Lake City, Utah OT conference was, it was that year that all of a sudden I had just literally had it. I was just kind of pissed off because my fieldwork students were writing all of this stuff on what they were seeing and what people were telling them. And I was just angry because I was like, I absolutely have nowhere good to send my students for field work. And sorry to you guys that have taken my students in the past, but I mean, there's a couple places. And so then I started this initiative. I sent this message out to all the field work coordinators we have a chat or an email list. And I was like, I'm starting this client-centered, occupation-based, evidence-based practice group, and we are going to get together and figure out how we can create fieldwork sites that are good, where we can send our students to, because when they continue to go to these places, they get stuck in this rut. So we had a meeting in Salt Lake, and it went a little bit, but then it kind of got taken over by an AOTA committee, and then we kind of lost that luster and so forth. But in the meantime, I also went back and got my doctorate. And instead of using my capstone project to start my business, which I should have, I did this capstone project called Active Engagement in Aging. There's an article on it. If anyone's interested, let me know. I can send it to them. But this, fantastic program, of course, I thought, right? But no, actually, our students loved it. The people at the facility loved it. They wanted to continue the program, but the program didn't continue because the therapy staff didn't buy into it. I was frustrated. That's where I work. And it just so happened that around that same time, a student came in looking for a field work placement at a place that in town. I'm like, we don't have OT there, da, 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 da. It all led to me going to this place, and they said, you should, they basically told me to start my own business. I was thinking I should just work for them. They're like, no, start your own business. And that's where it started. And I started my own practice, no resources, nothing to help. I did several things wrong, very costly errors. The list could go on what I did wrong because I didn't know. And in the meantime, I was searching. I was one of those people on Facebook asking all of these questions, trying to find information. And yes, you guys, I will send out the letters, or it's an AJOD. It was like February, or not AJOD. I wish it was an AJOD. We didn't do it that cool. It was an OT practice like in February of 18, I think, but I can look for that. But anyways, started my own business, I started my own business, and I was asking all these questions, but no one, people were happy to help, but no one really knew what to do either. And AOTA didn't have resources, and I wasn't willing to invest in myself, and I wasn't willing to invest in my business, which is one big mistake I made too. But in my defense, there wasn't anything to invest in. It was in New Orleans, I think. I don't know, one of the AOTA conferences. I was an academic at the academic leadership meeting. President Amy Lamb, love her to death. And then the incoming president were talking. They were talking about entrepreneurship is the way of the future. I was the first one up there because dang, I had a question. I was like, I 100% agree. This is awesome. But what I want to know is, what is AOTA doing to help us do this, help us do entrepreneurship? Because I have my own business, but I've been searching and I don't have the answers. And I'm a person that wants to do it right. I don't want to be the one that just does it because someone else does it, or I don't want to be the one that copies a form off of the internet and just makes it work. That's not how I work. I want to do it right and have the best business I can have. And Rachel Wiley, who is amazing, and I work with her, she has her own mobile practice as well. She had actually posted a question like this on a listserv because AP, the physical therapy, APTA, whatever that is, they have more resources. So I even mentioned that the PT Association has more resources. OT doesn't, da, 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 da. Well, basically, they gave me some information, but they said they recommend going and finding a great business course. Okay, great. Thanks for that advice. Sorry, a lot of business courses don't really know healthcare and what I want to do. And I want to make sure what I'm doing with the older adults is the right thing. Then I met Greg Todd. I started a $30,000 mastermind, and that is from a person that is the most frugal person you guys could probably meet. I would take 2 weeks to figure out the motel room. That's the cheapest. I didn't want to invest in my business. I was going to do everything in myself. Through that program, I learned so much about myself, and it was last October that people were getting fired, laid off, let go from skilled nursing facilities. And I was like, I contacted Steve Luke, who is the CEO of Hello Note. I'm like, we need to do something about this now. These people need to know that they can start their own business and work with adults, and they don't have to deal with the nursing home. They don't have to deal with rehab companies. They don't have to deal with home health. They can start their own business and do what we're doing. And that's when our Therapy Business Builder program developed. So since then, we've helped several dozen therapists start their own practice. And we've also helped several dozens therapists start their own practice, not even in our program, but just with our resources. So you don't always have to be in our program, but I will tell you, I honestly created the program because someone said to me, what would you want? What would you pay for? And in order to have helped you back when you started your business, and that's where this program created. So we will talk about that, but I will also show you how you can do it yourself if you want to be a me 2 years ago. So, okay, anyways, enough of me jibber jabbering. Let's get the show on the road. If you have more questions, feel free to answer. Or ask them as we go. So we do have objectives for tonight, believe it or not. Learn the top 5 reasons and learn how to make it happen. So, okay, the top 5 reasons. Before I tell you the top 5 reasons, for all of you guys listening, can you put what you feel are the top 5 reasons, or even the top reason why now, today in 2020, is the time to start your own practice working with older adults in the community? Who's going to be the first to share what your top reason would be? Economic stability. Good. Thank you, Lloyd. COVID. Yes, huge. Growing aging population. Huge. Population of seniors exploding. Medicare is at risk. Quality care is so rare. Thank you. Older adults want to stay at home. COVID has cut off resources. They all want to stay in their homes. They want to stay in their home, and it's easy for us to set up mobile practice. Older adults are isolated. Yes. Large need for mobile be in the home. Individualized treatment. Deliver actual functional treatment to share my, okay. Okay, everyone read what's in the chat section, and we can go home and be done because you pretty much have covered it all, right? I love this. Have to assess them in their own home. Best patient care. Very functional to see them in their home. Awesome. The seniors deserve the best. Okay. Everyone that's on here that have answered, love you all. That's great information. And patient-centered care, functional treatment, productivity, more personalized coach. Yeah, we'll talk about OTAs and PTAs. Grow old ADLs. Okay, awesome. Pretty much you guys have covered my presentation, but I'm going to talk anyways so I can share my personal experiences. So, okay. Now, I should say that these are not in order. Like 1 is not the most important, 5 is not the most important. They're just kind of mixed in together because if you ask me on a given day, they will change. So number 1 reason, I shouldn't say number 1 reason. Number 1 that we'll talk about is the clients with dementia and their caregivers absolutely need us in their home. They are not getting the treatment and the care they need to be successful. And not only are the clients impacted, the caregivers are impacted. And they're being impacted more than you can ever see. And until you start going in there and working with them, I mean, it can be heart-wrenching to tell you the truth. So 5.8 million people in the US have dementia. Dementia incidence increased 117% globally from 1990 to 2016. Rachel Wiley, I had asked her what her top 5 were, and she had said in terms of people with dementia, most people providing direct, hands-on care are informal caregivers, family, friends, neighbors in the home, and they lack the formal training and skills to handle the challenges that come along with dementia care. And again, we need to be constantly learning and growing as professionals. I feel that as therapy professionals, we can definitely work with this population. I recently got certified in the Skills to Care program, which is specifically designed for clients or for caregivers of clients with dementia. Absolutely loved it. And the clients and the families that I am seeing and I am working with are golden. And in fact, I'm really upset because this picture, instead of the couple, was supposed to be my client and his little puppy. But for some reason it like took it off, and the client, I don't know, they shared it with me to share with you all. Because for example, one of the new clients that I am working with, he's actually to the later stages of dementia, and the spouse has been, is pretty well versed. But it is one of those cases that I needed or someone needed to be in there several years ago. Even 1 year ago would have made the biggest difference because their caregivers are just not educated the way they need to be educated. And we need to be in there and help them. But one of the little things that I did was, we really talk about routine and how routine is so important. And so we created this routine together. I emailed the routine to her, so she had it. She printed it off. The next day I received this picture, which I wish I could show you, but it was of her husband with the biggest smile in the world, holding his dog. And she's like, it's activity time and pet therapy. And she's like, I can't tell you how much of a difference just this schedule you sent me has made, because it actually makes me stop and think and stop what I'm doing and go and talk to her husband, try to do an activity and so forth. And again, she's been dealing with it. They've had tons and tons and tons of therapists in and out of their homes, and they haven't had what they needed to really help them. In fact, I'm trying to get this client up and moving and walking. He can walk. She told me that a PT, and this is no thing against any PTs, but she told me that a PT told her just to keep him in a wheelchair. Don't let him get up. Okay, that's not the right thing, right? We are needed with this population more than ever, and you'll learn more about that when we get to talking about COVID. Oops, I skipped ahead. So anyways, there's so many things we could do. The other thing about people with dementia is home modifications for people with dementia. For instance, the person I'm working with, their home isn't set up right now for her to be able to help him stay there. And there has to be changes if she is going to stay there and move on. So actually, the Skills to Care program we are working with, it's out of Jefferson University. But for people in our next level occupational therapy world, in our visionary membership groups, in our therapy business builder programs, are going to get a really reduced rate to take that certification. We're in the process of negotiating that. So make sure you're in our Facebook group. We will let you know as soon as we have the prices and all of that stuff, but it's a great program. It is just for OTs and OTAs. Mike Chua also does some training in our programs as well. It's called Skills to Care, and it's out of Thomas Jefferson University. And Mike Chua has some programs too where you can become certified dementia practitioner, and there's some things like that, but totally love the Skills to Care program. So number one, people with dementia, need us, and they need us at every single stage. I personally feel we need to be in there at day one, as soon as they find out, up until the end. So I have a new client I started just Tuesday. I don't even know what day it was. So that's yesterday. I don't know what day it is. Anyways, I was talking to the daughter today because we're scheduling for tomorrow, and she said, you know, I just want you to know that I don't think his memory is like it should be. And she started telling me some stories, and I'm like, yeah, I mean, and I started telling her about the Skills to Care program and what we can do. And it's definitely something we're going to initiate for their family, because he definitely does have something going on and no one's ever talked to him about it at all. So, okay, moving on. Number 2, 3 out of 4, so 80% of adults 50 plus want to stay at home, but many do not see that happening, according to a 2018 AARP study. Why? Homes are not accessible. We all know this. And apartment buildings are not accessible. And many of you who follow me might have heard my live the other day. I had a new evaluation in a 55 plus independent care complex. Good gravy. The toilet was so low, I couldn't even stand up from it. The shower that's in there doesn't even have the ability to have grab bars in there. Places are not being made accessible, and current places are not accessible. So there's just so much going on. Who in this world thinks there's a problem with homes and accessibility and the lack of universal design? Anyone else out there? Let me know. So we're going to talk a little bit more about this. And sorry, this is kind of all over the place. And there's lots of quotations, and I always told my students never do quotations, but of course I waited to put this presentation actually together instead of just in my brain until not very long ago. So in 2016, 26% of households aged 50 and over included a member with at least one vision, hearing, cognitive, self-care, mobility, or independent living difficulty. Difficulty climbing stairs or walking is the most common, affecting 17%. And the number of adults with ambulatory problems increased from 11% of 50 to 64 to 43% age 80 and up. Why is that a problem? Because few homes in the United States are accessible. According to and this was in 2011, so it's a little old, but in 2011, only 3.5% of US homes had single floor living, no step entry, and extra wide halls and doors. And I would actually be surprised if that number has changed. It is so frustrating why we can't get this right. I mean, for goodness sakes, it's 2020. Why aren't homes being built with no step entry? Why aren't they automatically wide enough? Why, you know, it's just insane to me. And then it goes on, if electrical controls reachable from a wheelchair and lever style handers on doors or faucets are included in the list, that drops to only like 0.9% in America. Hey, Sue, you're on here. I was gonna make you panelist. I'll probably pull you in. And then apartments, so only 36.3% of renter-occupied units have wheelchair-accessible bathrooms. Only 15.5% have handrails or grab bars in bathrooms, and only 6.3% have extra wide doors in hallways. You guys, there is such a huge area for us in this world. And there's more than just even the private practice Part B mode that we really showcase, but people need to be working with builders. OTs, PTs, we need to be building these places so they're done right, not done wrong and then have to be redone. Huge area. Okay, number 3. 45% of US COVID-19 deaths occur in nursing homes and assisted living facilities. Nursing home populations are at high risk of being affected by and dying from COVID, according to CDC, which I'm guessing we all know, right? Oh, Kristen, yes. That's the same thing. 55 communities put the microwave above the stove. Same thing with my lady that has the toilet that is like for a Lego man, and the shower that you can't put grab bars. Her microwave, of course, is above the stove and she can't reach it, but whatever. COVID-19 nursing home data. And this was just recently updated because I was on site today. 216,219 confirmed cases, 129,338 suspected cases, 53,196 deaths. So what does that mean? That means that adults are moving home and doing everything to avoid going into nursing homes and assisted livings. Does anyone on here know anyone that is either not going into assisted living or a nursing home and maybe we're going to, or do you know anyone that was in the nursing home, was in the assisted living that are now being cared for at home? I can tell you so many personal stories about people I know that have come home or are avoiding going in because of COVID-19. So what does this mean? This means that we need to be working with these people in the home. They need us now more than ever. This pandemic is actually a wonderful time to start a business and to start a mobile Part B business. It's not a wonderful time for so many things, I know that, but it has created so many problems right now, and we need to be the ones that solve these problems. You know, yesterday, or I don't know, whatever day, Morgan, you're on here, whatever day we went and did a new evaluation. She's my student. That's with me right now. And this man was in an assisted living facility and they brought him home because they were doing another 2-week lockdown. And he already has depression. He has dementia. It's not a safe place for him to be. I have a client in the assisted living facility. I've told the family they should bring her home. She would do so much better. She's not getting the care she needs there. She's declining. We see her, we get her going, and then we get kicked back out because of COVID or things. And yes, I know there's a time and a place for nursing homes and assisted living facilities, worked in them both, developed programs in them both. But now, more than ever, people don't want to be there because they don't want to get COVID-19. They don't want to not be able to see their families. They want to be at home. So again, that's why it's such a great reason to start these practices, because people need us in their home. I also want to just point this out. Let's not, even before COVID, cost is another problem with assisted livings and nursing homes. Matt is saying, I'm wondering if the assisted living facilities would let us in. So I have been going into the assisted living facilities. Sometimes they may be shut down for a little bit, but most of the time we're essential employees and they've had us go in. But even pre-COVID, everything, people avoid assisted livings, right? Because they're $4,000 a month, $48,000 annually. They avoid nursing homes because they're, almost $9,000 a month, over $100,000 annually. And these are average costs. I mean, some places they're way higher and way lower. If someone stays at home and has 8 hours of in-home care, figuring $20.50 per hour, that's going to cost them, $59,000. I mean, I'd rather pay the $59,000 to stay at home than I would pay the $48,000 to go into assisted living facility. I definitely would pay that before going into, a nursing home, but other people maybe think otherwise. So even before COVID, I personally felt we needed to be in there to keep people out of assisted livings, because I know several people that are in assisted livings that don't need to be in there. They could be in the home with the right support and the right education and the right, therapy, making that work. So yes, COVID has definitely brought more people to stay at home. Okay, number 4, social isolation. Prior to COVID-19, social isolation was a huge, huge problem for older adults. What do you think that has done now? Do any of you guys know anyone that is declining, having problems because of social isolation? Prior to COVID-19, 43% of adults 60 plus in the US reported feeling lonely. 1/4 of community dwelling older adults in the US are considered socially isolated, and this was pre-COVID. You guys, COVID has made this so much worse. I mean, I was almost in tears today. I have 2 OTA students, and they were working with older adults on the phone, online, telehealth. And it was just heart-wrenching to me to listen to the older adults talk about how they have no one, they have no friends, they have no one they can go see or talk to. They're stuck in their apartments, they're stuck in their homes, and it's creating so many more problems, which we're going to talk about in a little bit. But the social isolation is a huge problem, and it's a problem for our clients, but it's even I can't say it's a bigger, but it's a huge problem for caregivers. Caregivers, we all know, are at a huge risk for decline in their health, for depression, for getting hurt, and so forth. Now these caregivers can't even get out and get the socialization that they need. I see this in every single one of my clients I work with. Evidence shows that social isolation is detrimental to health and well-being. It's linked to poor physical and mental health status. It's linked to increased blood pressure, heart disease, obesity, impaired immune system, depression, anxiety, decreased cognitive functioning, increased risk of Alzheimer's disease, death, plus 50% increased risk of developing dementia. Remember what we talked about right away? Dementia, people with dementia and their caregivers need us in the home. Now we have more socialization going on than ever. And if that increases risk of dementia, I mean, I'm telling you guys, now is the time to do a mobile Part B practice. If you don't do it, I'm sorry to tell you, but someone else in your community is going to do it. 29% increased risk of coronary heart disease, 32% increased risk of stroke. Social isolation is huge. Do you guys feel that as occupational therapy professionals, and I know we have PTs and speech therapists on here, do you guys feel that we can help people with socialization now in their community? Do you feel there's things that we can do to help them? I know today we started that with 4 different people. I have OTA students that are working with me. They were meeting online with them. They're creating a support group that is meeting Friday for these clients. We have a few men that love fishing, and we're trying to figure out, okay, how can we get these guys to go fishing? I mean, we can help. We can make a difference in this. Okay, number 5. Hopefully this doesn't come off too negative for you guys, but current healthcare. So me personally, not impressed with the current healthcare, not impressed with the care that our older adults get. There's so many unethical things happening. There's so many non-client centered things happening. People are not meeting the needs of clients. It's not set up appropriate for our older adults. There's quantity over quality. Anyone else agree with the current healthcare system and how things are being run is not beneficial for our older adult population? Every day I see things that go on that just make me so angry. In the new client I was telling you guys about, the wife told me, she said they had an OT come and see him before, and she had him walk to the bathroom and back and sat in the chair, and she sat on the couch on her computer typing, and that's all she did. And I'm like, yeah, that's not what we're going to do. I have a client that a nurse practitioner sent me in to see because she was worried about his overall quality of life and health and so forth. I went to see him. He had wounds galore. I mean, but he had like a wound this big on his side that was open and it just nasty. It wasn't being taken care of. He was touching it because he didn't even know it was there. He couldn't feel it. He was working with a podiatrist at one location, a wound clinic at one location. No one was talking. No one was working together to meet his needs. Even when I tried to get in, I got met with like obstacles. Like, I'm like, I know I can help him. I'm a lymphedema therapist. I know I can manage those wounds. I know I can get this. Yes, but this has been going on for years. So what are you going to do about it, Robin? Are you going to just let it go on for years more? I know personally, I'm not. And that's why I've started my own practice, because I'm not going to sit by and let this go on, because I, for one, not going to let my parents get treated like this. And for two, I don't want to be treated like this when I get to be older. So that's why we can create our own practices. We can make just as much money as we have had. We can make more money than we worked for another company for and provide better quality care. So I would like to ask other people, who else out there wants to make a difference and help change this? I mean, why isn't other people stopping this and more of us doing this? I mean, there's lots of reasons I can tell you over and over, but me, for one, I'm not for it. So we need to make a change. And then I didn't even go into the way that home health part A. I mean, home health part A, first of all, there's several home health part A agencies that are completely unethical, fraudulent, and doing the wrong thing. But with the changes, some people aren't getting the therapy they need under home health part A. And people can't get to the outpatient clinic. Older adults, is an outpatient clinic really the best place for them? Maybe. I mean, I like the interaction that they can get from going into an outpatient clinic, but is it really set up for them? Is it functional? I don't know. I mean, each to soul. Yeah, the lack of integrity, it is a problem out there. Okay, so moving on. So those are my top 5 reasons. And I hope you all realize that those top 5 reasons are really driven from the older adult community and the healthcare itself. It's not even reasons why us personally should want to start our own practice, because personally, I could give you a gazillion reasons themselves. And everyone has their own top 5 list. And I just quickly want to go through this because I have other therapists that are mobile Part B practitioners or work with older adults or have their own business. And before I even put this together, I just sent a quick message and said, what are your top 5? And I just want to highlight a few of these. So Anthony Meritato, keep a vulnerable population out of busy clinics. Treat fewer patients while earning more money. Deliver the patient care experience you spent countless years and dollars learning how to deliver. Create the culture you've been dreaming of since choosing this profession. Stop trading time for money and start leveraging your knowledge for financial freedom. Bonus, build an asset instead of paying for someone else's. Sue Doyle. Sue is on here. You are able to see patients in their real life setting and address their concerns in the natural environment. You can set your hours, quality, process yourself. She corrects me up, though sometimes I am my own worst boss, but we don't have to put that in. I put it in because that's true, Sue. And maybe I should have broken 2 into 1 or 2. It allows you to have some flexibility for time, etc. It is so rewarding making a difference and seeing patients and their families' lives change directly from your services. And I can't tell you guys how many times I hear, why haven't other therapists do this? You're a godsend, so forth. No, I'm not a godsend. I'm just doing what's supposed to be done. So anyways, I could go on that tangent as well. Rachel Wiley, she has her own Part B practice, working with clients specifically with dementia. Most older adults would like to remain in their home, so we should support them in their home. And in terms of people with dementia, I already told you guys that one, flexibility to adapt your schedule to meet your needs and your clients. You get to provide ethical, high quality care without someone over you telling you to meet specific productivity requirements. And I don't know, I know she was on here earlier and I don't want to call you out, but there is a pretty new therapist that really wanted to do traveling home health. And if you want to share, if you know who you are, you can feel free to share in the chat section. But I mean, pretty sure she moved across the country to take this job. And like she's being told that she has to do documentation with the client right there. Yes, Kelsey, if you want to share any of your experiences right now, and just lots of things that aren't good, you guys. Things, yeah, I could go on about that. Anyways, I feel older adults are often undervalued member of our society, especially those with dementia. And we have the ability to provide them with support so they can continue to live their best lives while getting to know some incredible people in your community. And then she did 5.2, you can build credible relationships with your clients, particularly if you work with older adults with chronic or progressive conditions. You will have the privilege of working with them again in the future and building long-lasting relationships, which I 100 gazillion% agree with. I mean, I have clients that follow my children in sporting events. I have my daughter, both of my daughters are actually in CNA classes. And by the way, I told them, let me teach you how to do transfers. But anyways, they're both in CNA classes. And one of my daughters says, you know, Mom, we're taught we're not supposed to accept gifts from clients. And so I have this one client, you know, she sends us home with donuts one day. She's sent me home with different kinds of jelly. She sent me home with pickles, always different things, and the kids absolutely love it. But I'm like, yeah, I know. And my husband's a psychologist, so he's like, yes, that's what we are taught. But anyways, it makes them feel that, I mean, she's very happy to be able to, it makes her feel good to share that stuff with us as well. But anyways, long-lasting relationships, huge. Steve, he said only 5, haha. Use your clinical expertise without boundaries. Treat patients on your time and your rules. Work for yourself, grow your own business, and eventually turn it into passive income. Learn how to be an entrepreneur. And he said, those are just some quick thoughts. And then Carly, she just listed her top 3, but I will tell you, she recently started her own Part B business, and she is literally killing it out there. In fact, she has hired other therapists, and she needs to hire more. But her top 3 is she said her number 1 is definitely being able to control your own quality of care. Number 2 is moving toward reestablishing our profession as medical professionals with patients rather than a service that could be ordered from anyone, and to build a better work-life balance. So everyone's going to have their own different top 5, and I realize that. My top 5 are really driven from working with clients in the community, seeing what's going on, and just knowing we need to get more people out there and doing it. So what can you do? So you can literally start your own mobile Part B practice, you guys. It is not as difficult as people make it seem. But when I say that, starting a business is hard work, and there's a lot to it. And I see people that try to do it on their own and try to do what I did a few years ago. And it's so inefficient. And they make mistakes, and the things they post, I'm like, okay, no, that's not how it is. when you start your private practice, you need to have support. You need to have help. You need to have people that you can ask questions to. And if you know of someone that can do that, great. If not, you need to find someone, whether it is us or someone else. But what I am telling you guys is that you can start a mobile Part B practice, and I'll talk more about what a mobile Part B practice is. So my goal is literally for us therapists to take over the world and make a difference. We need individual therapists starting their own mobile, hi Jasmine, own mobile Part B practices and providing good quality care. I don't want any therapist that is going to come out here that is just in it for the money, because let me tell you, you're not going to be a multimillionaire doing a mobile Med B practice, but you are going to make a difference. You are going to provide good quality care. You're going to help older adults live in place, age with purpose, and be healthier and happier, and it's going to create a healthier and happier community. So literally, the more people we can get doing what I'm doing, I personally feel better. And you don't have to work for a company to do this. You can do it yourself. But I do want to stress that it is hard work. Greg Todd, who is a healthcare coach for tons of people, he came in and presented to our Therapy Business Builder program on Monday. And, you know, he said, you know, he did this. He's like, okay, I need to go and do this to a bunch of you guys, because some people are like, it's not going as fast as they would like, or I need to work on this, or I need to do this, and so forth. Building a business is hard work, and it takes a lot of time, and you have to have the motivation and ability to do it. It's not like someone off the street can just go start a business. So it does take the right person, which is why we have an application process and so forth to even be in our program. But like he talked about in the meeting, so many people see other people doing it and think it's that easy. And it's not that easy, but with the right support, I really think we can build this community of therapists across the United States, building these practices and are helping each other, and we're truly making a difference. Okay, so what is a mobile Part B business? It is not home health Part A, and it's not cash-based private pay. I firmly believe that if you're wanting to start a business working with older adults, you need to get credentialed with at least Medicare. Currently, with Medicare, OT and PT speech, we can't opt out. We're supposed to bill Medicare for services that are skilled and medically necessary. Plus, I will tell you, all of my clients want to use their Medicare benefits, okay? They don't want to pay me privately for something that could be covered from Medicare, and I honestly don't want to take their money when I know a service can be covered by Medicare. But that's why you do a hybrid approach. You do Part B and you do private pay together. The things that aren't covered by Medicare, bill them private pay, have a cash base. You can create the best of both worlds, but going into it that you're going to be totally cash based and private pay is not the right mindset if you're working with older adults. Also, I thought it was awesome when Greg was in our program the other day, like he himself said, you know, I mean, he went with insurance just because that's what people want. They want to use their insurance, but then you need to figure out how can you serve them after that? How can you create other programs? How can you have other services that serve them for private pay and maybe for more money and so forth? And I want to talk a little bit about home health Part A, because I see a lot of people, I see people that have started Part B businesses, but they still don't understand the difference. And when you start a private practice like this, you have to 100% know what the heck you're doing, because you are going to have people ask you and tell you what you're doing is wrong and you can't do that and so forth. And you need to be confident and know what the heck you're doing. So mobile Part B is outpatient, just provided in the home. And I have a whole nother lecture, whole nother thing going through everything with the mobile Part B practice. But It is not home health. They do not need to be homebound with our mobile practice. They do not need someone to start a plan of care. They do not need a PT. They do not need Oasis. That's nothing what it is. It's completely different, okay? So you need to know that. And we've actually had some people in our programs that some people have tried to even stir up trouble saying that what you're doing isn't legit and so forth. But you know, it's all written in the Medicare rules and language, and we have all of that to support that, yes, therapists can have their own private practice doing outpatient Part B in the home. How many people on here already have their own private practice mobile Part B? Well, let me know if you already have that. If you don't already have that, let me know if that's something you want to have. Good. So we have people that already want to, we have people that already do, we have people that want, and so forth. Good. So we have kind of a mix in there. So awesome. For those of you that already have your own mobile Part B practice, do you feel you 100% understand and know everything you need to in order to be successful in that? Matt, nope, definitely not. I agree, and I see that out there all the time. And you guys, there's people helping. Yeah, Sue. I mean, Sue Doyle is a flippant expert in this, and she says she's still learning every day. I mean, she does tons of work and helps in our program, and she still is learning every day. You need to have support system. Okay, tell me this. Outpatient clinic, hospital, therapy departments, they have more than one person, right? Okay, so that's why I tell people when you're starting a private practice, when you're starting a business, doing it all by yourself singly is pretty much impossible and not a smart decision, because you need a community of support. You need other people that you can ask questions to. You can get the help you need to do things the right way. Basically, my business is a mobile Part B business, but I also do private pay, cash-based. I've billed out of network. I've billed insurances out of network, and I did just cave, and I did sign up with a Sanford Health plan, and I'm looking to add Blue Cross Blue Shield because they have good reimbursement. But I will tell you, you don't do that without further research. And the other thing with mobile Part B businesses is many people think they have Medicare and they don't. And if you start seeing a client that tells you they have Medicare and they don't, they have a Medicare Advantage plan or they don't have Medicare at all, then you're going to not make any money because no one will pay for that. So, and it happens. I mean, last week I had a client that wanted to be seen, and she didn't even have Medicare Part B. When I told her she didn't have Medicare Part B, she was like, I mean, she had no idea. But anyways, happens all the time. So you need to know your stuff. So what are the steps? So I'm just going to give you a really basic summary because it's 8:30 and I try not to go on and on forever. But I will tell you, we have on our website a startup checklist that's free. Go download it. I'll show you where to find it. Go download it, and it goes through everything you need to do. But I'm just going to basically go over some of the basic steps, and it's not going to be everything. It's probably not even going to be in order because I don't have it all written down on top of my head. But you, first of all, do need to make sure that it is going to be viable in your area. And, you should check out your surroundings. Is there anyone else doing this? If there's no one else doing it, you need to do it because you'd be missing out if you didn't. You need to come up with a name. You need to get your business established within your state. Now, when you get your business established within your state, there are some things you need to know. Some states require a PLLC, not just an LLC. Some states require a corporation to be set up. So you need to know what kind of business to set up. Once you get your business set up, then you need to go ahead and get credentialed with Medicare. To get credentialed with Medicare doesn't cost any money, but it's a nightmare. Most people do it wrong and have to do it again, and have lots of troubles with it. So just to let you know, there's people out there that can help you, AKA we can help you. That's why we put in our program. Once you get credentialed with Medicare, yeah, it takes forever. Well, and exactly. That's why we do it for our people, because it saves you so much time and money. I could go on and on. Once you get credentialed with Medicare, you have to have a documentation system in place. Some people do it on their own. If you're planning on creating a good big business with it, I really think that you need to have a better system in place. But once you have a documentation system in place, then you need to get that set up with a clearinghouse and with Medicare. And that process itself can take, 45 days or so. And there's lots of pains in the butt with that. But once you're credentialed with Medicare, you can start seeing clients. But there's so much more to that. You need to know the rules and the regulations with Medicare. You need to make sure you have your policies and procedures in place. Medicare requires a Medicare compliance policy. You need to make sure that you know how to verify insurance. Again, so many people don't verify insurance, don't understand how to do that, and they see people that they shouldn't be seeing, and then they lose a lot of money. You need to make sure they're not on home health or hospice. You can't see them then. So there's a lot more than that. So those are the basic steps, but you need to know how to market and build your business the right way. And just going to doctor's offices, sending out emails, things like that is not going to cut it. So there's lots of things you need to know. You need to have a good financial plan. You need to have your personal finances in place, and then you need to have your business finances in place. Again, lots of these things I really screwed up when I started and then paid for it. Even now I'm paying for it because I had to go back and redo things. So if you can start off on the right foot, you are going to be so much farther ahead down the line. So those are the basic steps, but don't worry, we have the checklist. I'll show you where to find it. You can download that as well. So those are the basic steps. We have, like I said, our therapy business builder program started, almost a year ago. And we have reformulated it, redone it each launch. We're in our fourth launch, which starts October 1st. And every time we take everyone's comments, everyone's feedback, our personal opinion of how things are going, and revise it to help people where they need to be. So it is now we call it a one-year mastermind, because our program, okay, yes, I see it all the time. Start and build your business in 1 month. Start and build your business in 3 months. Start and build your business in 6 months. Whatever. I'm sorry, but it takes a lot longer than that to start and actually build a successful business. And you need support long-term, not just 1 week, 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, whatever. So our program is 1 year. And why it's 1 year is because we have people that have their business up and going, seeing clients, billing clients within, a few months. But there are things that come up long-term that they need the support for and the education for. So that's why it's 1 year. Yeah, could we have it a 6-month program? Sure. Could we have it a 9-month program? Sure. But we feel that we really want to provide that support for people for that whole year. And even after that year, you still have access to, the trainings and the things we have. And then we will have ongoing support opportunities, but we feel we can get people where they need to be in that 1 year. But you need to be willing to do the work and do the things that we tell you to do. the nice thing about our program is a lot of the hard stuff is done for you, so that you can continue to work, or you can do the things that you need to do. So it is 1 year, and that's why it's 1 year. Why do you need to join? I'll just tell you, I see it over and over all the time. People think they can do it on their own. They try to do it on their own. They ask us a gazillion questions. They have no idea. And if they would have just joined our program, they'd have their business up and going, making more money, and it would actually save them in the long run. And by being in a mastermind, by being in this program, it's actually tax deductible. Sorry to say, but the months and months you spend trying to figure it out on your own isn't tax deductible. So I could go on and on about why you need to join, but I'd rather you talk to the people already in our program. They have reviews out there. They're willing to talk to people. There's videos out there. There's lots of things that you can do to learn from, or to talk with them, because they pretty much tell it better than I do. But by joining our program October 1st, you literally could have your business set up and running prior to the end of 2020 and finish 2020 on a high note, and know that you're going to be impacting all of these older adults that need us to work with them in the community. Okay, so I want to show you where you can find some of these resources, and I'll go into a little bit more depth about our program. But for those people that are serious and want to do this, and want to have the support and the team that you need, there is an application process which you guys can go in and do, and we're starting October 1st, and we've actually decreased the number of people that we're allowing in this round, just because, again, we're shifting how we're doing it, and we want to be able to focus more on the people individually themselves. So I have some things to share here. Okay, so the first thing I will share is, if you go to our website, if you go to Next Level Occupational Therapy, and you go to, go down to free resources, we have tons of different things on here. Scroll all the way down. You can, of course, watch anything you want. So thanks to, yes, nextlevelot.com. Scroll all the way down. You can download a business plan. But if you're ready to start your own occupational therapy private practice, for sure, go here and download the top 15 list to start your occupational therapy practice. I know several therapists that have taken this list and done their own thing. You know, they just choose to take a lot longer time and energy to do it, but that's all, you know, a bunch of us came together, formed this list, so it's a good resource. So these two things, definitely go download them as well. If you go to start, or I'll go back, if you click on products and you go to Therapy Business Builder, you will see a few different things. You'll see a video from me. You'll get to meet the team. You can click on here and you can meet the therapists that have started their practice. This isn't current updated as to all the therapists in our program, but we're working on it. And you can go and meet the different therapists that have started their practice. You can see their cool logos and stuff that was made and so forth. So go check that out. That's very beneficial. And we have different programs on here, but what I'm focusing on tonight and what we're starting October 1st is our Start and Build Your Business program. And it goes through who this is for. I'm not going to read this to you guys. You can read them yourself. Ooh, you know what I do need to show you guys though? I need to go over this. I forgot to talk about this. People probably want to know, can you make a good income from having your own business? And this will highlight it. So let's say Obviously, the more clients you see, the more you can earn. You can expect to make an average expect to make an average of $100 per 1 hour session for Medicare Part B clients. But if you know how to add on services to create hybrid approaches, things like that, you can obviously create more than that. And I personally think 100 is a little low. Most of my clients with an hour session with their Medicare Part B and their secondary together are probably in the 115, 120 range. I don't know. Sue, what range do you feel is average? We just say 100 because it's just a good overall average, and it's easier to kind of show you guys the numbers. So if you do 5 visits a day, 5 days a week, that's 25 visits per week. So that would be 2,500, right? And if you, Sue said like 127 an hour generally for Medicare. So if you do 25 visits per week, 48 weeks, because we own our own practice, we're not going to work 52 weeks a year, right? That would be 1,200 visits a year. So that's $120,000, okay? Obviously, you're going to have expenses, okay? Obviously, you have taxes and you have all of that other stuff to come into play. But I will tell you, I will never forget when I first started seeing my Part B clients, and I was driving around Grand Forks, and I was like, saw like 2 clients, and I was like, I just made more than I did in a day in the skilled nursing facility. And you don't have to see 5 visits a day, 5 days a week. I have independent contractors that work with me. So when I am at my children's games or I'm home having lunch with my kids, I have other therapists that are out seeing clients that are making money for my business as well. You know, and we have people that are just doing this as a side business. And then as they get going, then they turn it into a full-time business. We have people that are in our therapy business builder programs that are completely killing it with how many clients their business is seeing in a very short amount of time. We have other people that haven't really done much with it and are just doing it here and there. So it depends on you and how many clients you want to see and how well you build and grow your business. So just a little bit about, I forgot to tell you that because you probably want to know that. But what I want to talk about is just telling you guys what our Start and Build Your Therapy business program involves. And I will tell you, it's everything that I wanted when I started my practice, as well as I surveyed several other Part B therapists that do the same thing and asked them what would have helped them get up and going and make their life easier. So we have an attorney that works with Therapy Business Builder, and they do the business establishment. So they set up the business in the state, following each of the state's rules and regulations. And depending on the state, it could take 1 to 6 months. But realistically, a lot of the times, you know, it takes a month or even less. But we just say longer because it depends on the situation. And some states are more difficult, but some states are set up in a week or 2. But the nice thing about this is we have a form you fill out, we ask you some questions, and then the attorney takes care of it and gets the business set up for you, so you don't even have to worry about it. We do personal and business financial training. Again, I will tell you that when I started my business, I made several bad mistakes when it comes to personal and business finances and how I did things. And we want people to, we want all of the people in our program to be successful. And in order to be successful, you need to have a solid financial plan with the appropriate systems in place. So it includes personal finance training, because you have to have a solid financial foundation in order to have a good business as well. So we do personal finance training, business finance training, as well as taxes. How taxes work, how much to save for taxes, how to pay it, all that kind of stuff is included. Once you get your business established, once the attorney has done that, Then we have you go get your bank account, set up your EIN, and then we do the Medicare credentialing for you. So again, we ask you a few questions, you fill out this form, you can go and do other things that take your time. We do the credentialing for you, not me. You wouldn't want me to do it, let me tell you that. The experts do that. So we set up the MPIs depending on if you have your type 1 or not, type 2 or what. We take care of all of that. And then on top of that, we do education and training on how to verify insurance eligibility. And we also do courtesy Medicare benefits checked for you. So one of the biggest things I see is people don't know how to verify insurance eligibility, or they don't know what they're doing or what they're looking for. And sometimes you don't have a good, simple way to do it. So the nice thing is you just put the client information in Hello Note, send us the client ID. The team plugs that in. They send you a picture of what their current insurance eligibility is and so forth. But then we teach you how to do it in the long run. It includes an EMR record system for 1 year. Again, we include this package as a whole for everything you need for a year to be successful. So it includes setup and use of Hello Note EMR, which is developed by an OT. You have full EMR system set up and ready for you to document, patient portal, telehealth, no monthly fee, no account setup fee, no fee for additional users. And then after 1 year, you get a special discount as well on that. But with the EMR system, the people in our program, we have tons of videos and trainings on it. And you have a lot of extra support when it comes to using your EMR system. Like for instance, today in our question answer session, someone had some questions on EMR. So we have a sandbox that we use for the people within our programs that we can do additional training in. Another one of the big things is billing. People don't know how to bill. They don't know how to set up their clearinghouse. They don't know how to process claims. And it's just kind of troublesome. So within our program, you get a billing system. We set up the clearinghouse to process your claims. There's no monthly fee, account set up. And then we firmly believe that you need to know and understand how to manage your billing. So there are some programs out there that say, 20% of what you make, we're going to keep, but we're going to do all of your billing and manage all of this for you. You need to know how your business runs. You need to know how to bill, and you need to know how to know if something comes back that wasn't paid accordingly. So we teach you how to do this and how to manage it, because it's absolutely essential. Once you get to the point where it's too much to handle, then yes, you need to pass that on. You need to hire someone to do it, or we do provide that. If you want billing completed for you, we can do it for just 5% of the collected claims that come in. After 1 year, billing is at a reduced discount for people in our program. So it's $50 a month for up to 100 claims, or the 5%, and billing is normally $50 per month for 50 claims. So it's a considerable discount as well. So basically, hopefully you guys are seeing that we try to take care of you guys the best you can, because you're our partners, you're in our program, and we want you to succeed, and we want the clients and everyone to benefit from you having a good, solid business. And then trainings. So we do live trainings, and they're also always recorded. But our trainings are designed to get you started on the right foundation and help you build the business the right way. So we start with, some of the basics. Yes, we have PT, OT, and speech therapists within our program, Caitlin. And yes, Sue, I so wish I had this when I started my business. So We do business plan development, how to build your business, marketing and selling the right way, financial planning, billing training, insurance training, policy procedures for your business, processes to follow with your clients before, during, after. And that's just the basics. I mean, we have trainings ongoing in our program, and the list goes on and on and on. And this isn't even, I don't know, that's not even half of them or even a quarter of them. Then we do a marketing package, but we're changing the way we do this because of how we want our clients to focus on building the business the right way. So you will work with our logo designer to create your logo. You are going to be provided with the business card templates to plug in your information and be able to utilize them. We have rack cards that we use that you guys can use. And then we have website training to it's going to be provided to build your own websites. And then this time around, we have different options for what, if you want additional things on your websites than what we're going to train you to do. We have all the business forms. You need to have the right forms in order to see your clients. You need to have the intake forms, the consent to treat, the HIPAA, authorization, tele forms. You need to have a policy and procedure manual. You need to have the right forms and make sure they're legit. And I do want to highlight that the value is over $12,000 because I will tell you personally, and I can show you the receipts, that our policy and procedure manual alone was $12,000 in attorney fees, not to include the months and months and months and months that it took to develop that. So yeah, Lloyd, if you have other PTs working for you or PTAs, so Lloyd, I have independent contractors, and I usually pay them, or I do pay them basically a 60-40 split so that they make 60%, I keep 40%. So for example, they make around $60 when they see clients and so forth. But we go into all of that and teach you guys how to do that with independent contractors and so forth. PTAs and OTAs, we do need to go into a little bit more depth on that. And I can talk about that too, don't let me forget. So we provide you with the business forms that you need to do the right thing. Then you have all the access to materials and documents to utilize in your practice. You have assessments, you have Medicare forms, financial forms, blog content, website content, social media content, posts, because why are we all recreating it when we can use what we have and you can, take it, make it your own and use it yourself. And then I think probably the most valuable thing is the support, accountability, and mentorship we have. Because you're part of a group of healthcare professionals that are starting and building your business together. We do meetings pretty much every week. Today we had a training on a couple different trainings, and we really base the trainings on where people are at in the program and what their needs are. So today our training was on how to contract with assisted living facilities, if you want to rent space from a physician's office or another place in town. We did another training on eligibility checking. We had just a question and answer session when people were able to come in, ask their questions for where they're at and get those answers. Next week on the off weeks, then we do business success meetings where people come in and share their successes and their not successes, and we help them figure out as a team how they can overcome those challenges. And then we also celebrate those successes, of course. You have accountability partner, you have a personalized Trello board, and the biggest thing is you have us to ask questions. I can't tell you the number of questions I get every day. If I would answer those questions every day, I wouldn't be able to do my job. But the people in our community and our team, you have us to ask those questions and get the support you need when you need it. We have a private Facebook group just for those of us where we do a lot of our communication in. You get to be an affiliate for the Therapy Business Builder program. And then we do have bonuses. So you're an automatic member of the Next Level Visionary Group. We have added something new this time around. Everyone's going to go through the Alzheimer's disease and dementia care seminar, which will allow you to be a certified dementia care practitioner. And that's just a bonus that Mike Chua has thrown in the mix. You get a 30-minute free consult with our therapy business builder attorney. Plus he comes in and does trainings and so forth. So he just came in and did a training on employees versus independent contractors, and knowing the difference in what you need to do with that. I'm connected with a lot of different programs, and people in our world get those discounts with those programs, and we have virtual assistant to help you as well. So I was just meeting with my coach the other day, and he's like, Kara, this is totally way more valuable than all of this, but we don't want to put something in that makes it seem like it's, $1 million and whatever. So we try to be really realistic when we show you where it is. So of course, the monetary value, the time savings, everything, can amount to like $75,000, which I would argue is way more valuable than that. We still are keeping the program at $9,999. We decided that the rate was supposed to go up to $14,999 this fall, but with COVID and everything going on, we decided that that's not where we want to be. Our goal is to help more therapists do what we do, and the people that are in our program that teaching you do it. Steve with Hello Note has his own mobile Part B practice. Anthony Meritato is a Medicare expert. Sue is in our program. She has her own mobile Part B practices. And our goal is to obviously not sink and be able to cover our expenses and be able to support our time for doing this. But our goal is to really help therapists start their own practice. And now more than ever, our older adults need us to be out there doing these practices to help them. We do have payment plans available. We have 3, 6, 9-month payment plans available. Next Level Visionary members, you automatically get $300 discount. And then I will tell you, if you already have a business established, if you already have credentialing, if you already have some of the stuff that's on our list, please reach out and talk to me, because we will work with you and can reduce the cost depending on what you already have. We just want to give people the support they need to make it happen. So again, you just need to apply. I will tell you, we do have some add-ons. We have the Home Safety and Modification Business Builder program that Sue Doyle runs. And it is, and you get it at a drastically reduced cost. And the Skills to Care Dementia Training Program that I highly recommend is going to be a special add-on at a very low cost for people within our program. Can't tell you what that is yet. I know it, but I can't tell you until it's in writing from Thomas Jefferson University. And I just want to tell you, I get questions all the time about other programs out there that seem to do what we do and they don't do what we do. You can do falls prevention. There's lots of free resources. There's lots of awesome things out there. So if that's something you're interested in, we have lots of great information on that. And Sue actually was talking to me the other day about, like the MIPS programs and different things out there that people can utilize with that. We have frequently asked questions on the website for you to check out. What other expenses do you have? What other expenses would I have during my first year? Realistically, you guys, if you're doing a mobile practice and this Med B model, your additional expenses are really low. We try to list, anything we could think of there. Is this a franchise? No, this is not a franchise. It's 100% your practice. You do not have to pay any percentage to us. We don't want you to pay any percentage to us. Our goal is to truly help therapists start and build their own practice We don't want anything of it. You're going to find some businesses that once you get up and going, they're going to take a certain percentage of it and so forth. And depending on some of those businesses, it might be legit. Like for me, I'm with Autonomy, and it's a whole different program. It's a whole different thing, but they take 10%, but I don't have to have an office staff to do that. But you really want to dig in and do your research, you guys, to things out there. Is there a guaranteed income? No. Unfortunately, we can't guarantee income because it all depends on what you take and do with it, because it is 100% your business. But I will tell you, we do everything we can to give you the tools that you need to have it. And this is just another, I lowered it to 20 therapy visits per week, what you could generate and so forth. So lots of information out there. I was going to share this with you tonight, but it's getting too late. I have videos of other therapists that are in our program that have gone through and do video testimonials. I can send that out. But if this is something you want to do, please reach out. Please take the application. Please just complete the application and set up a time to meet with me and talk about it. I'm going to tell you if it's not the right program for you. And because we don't want people in the program that it's not right for, because obviously that doesn't look good, right? So what questions do you guys have? Let's see, Kelsey, I want to do this, but what if timing isn't right? I'm just starting in my career and I cannot devote the time and financial investment right now. And that's something we can definitely talk about, Kelsey. We actually have therapists that are right out of school doing our program because they know right away they want to start their business, get it up and going. The other nice thing about this program is you can easily do it with also maintaining what you're currently doing, because there are big section of the program that we do it for you. Where on your website can I see? You can, Randy, I'll pull up here. If you go to website, if you go to our website and you meet the therapists who are building their businesses, again, it's not fully updated. Kylie, I don't know if Kylie's on. I don't know how many people we still need to add, but this is a graphic that you can look at. So, but anyway, sorry, I got lost track. So, Kelsey, we can definitely chat about this, but one, new graduates, don't think that you can't do this as a new graduate, because a lot of us that took so long to start our practice, we wish we would have done it the right way. And luckily with our program, you have the support and help that you need to do it. And you can do it along your sign on the side, because there's big chunks of it that we do for you to take the stress and hassle out of that part. So CODAs and PTAs. So we do have an OTA that is doing this, but I will tell you, okay, prior to COVID, OTAs could not go into clients' homes and bill under Medicare Part B in private practice, which is completely stupid. I mean, why can OTAs, PTAs, go into homes under Home Health Part A by themselves? I mean, it's dumb rule. I mean, whatever. But during COVID, they have lightened up those restrictions so that we can lighten up those restrictions so that OTAs and PTAs can go into the home right now. But we don't know if that's going to continue or not. But this is one thing that you can do. So like we have an OTA that is in our program doing this exact program. And what she has done is she's hiring an OT to do the evals and to do the Part B visits. But when clients no longer need Medicare Part B, then you can do wellness visits. You can do like a hybrid cash-based visits, and COTAs, PTAs can go in and work with clients then. You could even do it together. Like you could, a good hybrid approach is You figure out what the client needs. That's going to be Medicare Part B, and then they might need some other things that are more private pay, and the OTA could do that. So there are different ways to doing it. Hopefully, and there was legislation or like petitions that were going around at the beginning of the year that that was trying to get this changed. So I really, really, really hope that that goes into place and that we can get OTAs and PTAs to be able to be in the home under Part B at the same time. Now, I will tell you, we do have therapists that are doing their own mobile Part B practice, and they do a lot of treatments in assisted living facilities. And if the OT and OTA are both in the assisted living facility, you can make that work as well. So hopefully, Nicole, hopefully that answered your question. So Kristen, hopefully that answered your question on if anyone else is my area to do it. So Randy, what is the best way to search our area for similar businesses? Just like Google and, you know, Google, Facebook, and call around asking people and so forth. If you want to message me and tell me kind of where you're at or so forth, I know quite a few people across the United States. I can see if there's anyone I could connect you with as well. But I will say this, if someone else is doing it in your area, don't be afraid to start your business, because we'll teach you how to do it better, that people want to come to you instead. There's some big rehab companies that do this on the East Coast. And we have therapists that have left them and are starting their own, and, you know, in the area that they serve. So there can be multiple people doing this in one area. I'm just saying, if no one's doing it, it's a real no-brainer to do it right away. Can we pick and choose what services we want instead of purchasing the whole package? To that, I say fill out an application. Tell us exactly what you need, what you don't need, and we can kind of work with you and help guide you, because it totally depends on what you already have. We've designed this package to know what people need and what works to get them where they need. Trust me, we don't have added fluff in here. I could say maybe I had added fluff the first round because I didn't know enough. I tried to put a bunch of stuff in there. We pretty much have what we know that you need to be successful. But again, just reach out to me, because I've customized several packages for people as well. John, what's the website again? It is nextlevelot.com. So go ahead and check that out. And yes, definitely keep in touch. Kimberly, is this program strictly for geriatric-based private practice? Is it solely Medicare Part B based? No, we do have therapists that are in our practice that are building other therapy practices as well. We have pediatrics and others that want to do more outpatient, younger adults. We have a lady that's doing canine therapy, things like that. So we have a variety of people, but the majority are doing Medicare Part B. I personally feel a big part of that is because, you know, that's what I do, and that's what I'm really passionate with. But some of our other coaches do other things as well. So Randy, how well do you think this fits as supplemental work for someone who works 3 days a week elsewhere? And do you think it would be off-putting to home patients that their therapist also works with inpatients in hospital environment? So this can definitely supplement work for someone that works 3 days a week or works elsewhere. So when I started my business, I was teaching in the occupational therapy assistant program full-time, and I did this on the side. Majority of the therapists that are building their business right now are working and doing their own thing as they build this business. I don't think it would be off-putting at all. One question that we haven't seen on here, and maybe it's down here. Oh, yep. Jasmine asked it. Okay, Jasmine, I'm coming to you next because that's one thing I wanted to talk about. So I'll keep going down the list. So hopefully, Randy, I answered your question. Kelsey, so our Mastermind program, yes, we will be doing it. I can't tell you when or where the price will increase. I mean, we do eventually have to increase it in order to reimburse for the amount of time we actually put in. But again, especially now with COVID and everything going on, we decided to keep it at the $99.99 because last spring when we said we were doing this, we said we're going to increase it to $14.99 in the fall, but we also didn't think COVID would last this long, be around this long. I don't know. We, you know, obviously COVID was new to us. Actually, when we launched in March, we launched in February, starting in March, you know, COVID wasn't really there when we launched that. So, so our program will be offered in the future. I just don't know what the price will be, but yeah. Jasmine, okay, so I am currently a home health PT with a large national company. Do you have thoughts in this situation? And does the company consider it conflict of interest and competition, even though it is Part B instead of Part A? So this is a great question, and I should have mentioned this a long time ago. So I didn't tell you guys that I also contract with a home health Part A company, and that is actually how I started my business. So when I started my business, I went and met with this company that was starting Part A services, and they needed an OT. And I was telling them how Part B, outpatient in the home, is the wave of the future. This is what I want to do, da, 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 da. And I was trying to get them, that company, to start this up. And luckily the guy said, you know, you would be better off if you started your own practice and you took care of all the Medicare Part B and you contract with us for the home health Part A. So I do contract with a company and I see home health Part A. And the nice thing is we have a really good relationship, and they understand the benefits of home health Part A and how it's different between Part B. So for example, if someone qualifies and needs home health Part A, I want them to get home health Part A for as long as they qualify for it, obviously. But if they still need therapy when they're done with home health Part A, you know, they have the choice of going into an outpatient clinic, or they can continue with us and have their outpatient care provided in their home. So it can work very well. And Jasmine, we have quite a few therapists within our program that are in the same boat. They work for home health companies. They're home health PTs, OT, speech therapists, and they start their own practice. Now, everyone's kind of handled it differently. And it's not to say that when you tell the company that they might say, no, it's a conflict of interest. I mean, we feel it's best to be honest and forthright and letting people know what you're doing. When you decide to tell them that, that's obviously on your own. But for some of our people, it's been a great relationship for them because they have that home health Part A company that they've worked for and have a good relationship. Now they start their Part B company, and it's a good, you know, referral source between the different companies as well. Hopefully that answers your question, Jasmine, and makes sense. If it doesn't, let me know. John, thank you for being on. Randy, if we want to start as independent contracting with some of the people you have helped start out, do you have connections with practitioners in various areas, and do you offer any training on this? So yes, Randy, just reach out to me and let me know where you're at, because in fact, we have therapists that have started and built their practice that are actually looking for other therapists to work with them. So if we have someone in your area, I'll definitely connect you with them. So, okay. I hope I have answered. There's a couple questions in Q&A. Michelle, can a PTA benefit from this? Hopefully I answered your question there. If not, let me know. Does anyone else have any questions? Yes, Michelle. So our next cohort, cohort 4, it's pretty exciting that we have cohort 4 starts October 1st. And we like to start with cohorts because then you're starting with a group that is starting at the same pace as you. So you have that group of support with you. And we start, at step 1 and kind of work through the process. Now, I will tell you, some people progress way faster than others. And the nice thing about being within the program is we have people at all stages of the game. And we do have people that have started between cohorts just depending where they're at and where we're at with the program, that works as well because we have recordings and things like that. But it is nice when you can get in on a cohort because it's a great community to be a part of. Caitlin, apologies for this random question. No apologies, all questions are great. Is a physician script needed to bill Medicare Part B? So one, you always need to know your state practice acts on everything as far as if you need a physician's referral in the first place, this and that and so forth. But with Medicare Part B, you do not, now this is just Medicare Part B's rule, so I'm not saying you need to know with your state, but with Medicare Part B, you do not need to have a script, but, there's a big but, the physician needs to sign off on the plan of care within 30 days. So we feel that it is best practice that you get a physician's referral because you want to make sure that they're going to sign off on that plan of care within 30 days. So Erin, thank you so much. Yes, keep in touch. I appreciate it. So hopefully, Caitlin, that answers your question. So if you guys are interested in starting our program, go to nextlevelot.com, go to products, and I'll send this out to you guys as well. Go to Therapy Business Builder. Sorry, there's way too many links. That's not good salesman, I know that. Go to Start and Build Your Business, and this tells you our full program for our 1-year mastermind. Again, we're limiting the number of applicants because we need to be able to manage and provide the best quality of care. So apply. Just because you apply doesn't mean you have to do it. Obviously, it needs to be the right fit for you. But apply. This will go through more things in there if you have more questions. So thank you, Jacqueline. Yes, stay in touch. Julie, can you send a name and information if someone is on hospice but wants home modification? So yes. So in our home mod course, we definitely go into more information on how to do private pay home mods, work safety home mods, working with developmental disabilities, all that kind of stuff. Sue is such a wealth of knowledge and will answer that. So there are situations in place and we can, talk through that. As far as cohorts starting, so we try to start new cohorts 3 to 4 times a month, or 3 to 4 times a month, 3 to 4 times a year. So our first cohort started last year in October, our second one, and that one really, we started really quickly and fast because of everything that was happening with the changes in the skilled nursing facility. And then we started another cohort in January because of all the changes with home health, and we were seeing all these home health therapists losing their jobs, hating their jobs, so forth. So we started then, and we did our third cohort in March and April. So this will be, we try not to do cohorts over the summer because I try to take as much of my summer off to spend with my kiddos. So this will be our 4th cohort. I'm anticipating maybe after the beginning of the year. It kind of depends on the amount of people in our program and where we're at, because we want to make sure that we can provide the best quality of service as possible. We don't want to get into the game of quantity over quality, right? That's exactly what we want to avoid doing. So hopefully that makes sense, Michelle. But anyways, next level OT, start and build your business. Hopefully you guys learned something tonight. If you have questions, just reach out. If you just want to contact me, definitely click the contact button and reach out. Deborah, yeah, so Deborah, I am doing autonomy as well. Just met with Dennis today. So yeah, reach out to me with what questions you have. Actually, I'm super excited. I just hired last week an occupational therapy assistant, and she is going to be my business coordinator, and as well as she will also be seeing some clients because she can through our home health Part A client, and during the pandemic she can with the Part B clients as well. But she's also going to learn this whole process of developing a business and helping with everyone doing their business as well. So super excited that I was able to hire her. She's actually was a former student way back in the day. So thank you, Jody. Okay, you guys have a fabulous night. Reach out if you have any questions. If you guys have questions, I always say, give us a little time to respond because I did start with 2 OTA students recently. They're in their second week. So trying to map out time for them as well as my business, and then keeping everyone going in the next level program. So, and sometimes things get lost in the mess of email and in the mess of Facebook Messenger. So if you don't hear back from me, like within 48 hours, please reach out again. I always told my students the same thing. If you don't hear from me, it's because it was lost in the shuffle, and reach out to me again. I'd love to visit with you to see how we can help you build the business of your dreams, and how we can help older adults actually live their life with purpose in the community. So have a fabulous day. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks, guys.